Have you ever done a car mod and 6 months later you just look at it like, well, it's that time of year again. The weather's getting warm and you might be pulling your car out for the first time of the season. If you're like me, you've probably just sat in your driveway thinking about what you want to modify next. Before you do anything though, I want to share a few mods that I regret so you can learn from my mistakes. So I took a little break from uploading on YouTube, but in the meantime I have just been going hard in the paint on my Instagram, so if you guys want to give me a follow on there, I'd really appreciate that. But anyway, 5 modifications that I've done to my cars that I regret. That way you guys can kind of learn from my mistakes. So first on this list is LED headlights. Now I don't think that LED headlight bulbs are inherently bad. The problem is when you put an LED bulb in a housing that's not designed for them. So for example, on this car, the actual headlight part is fine because it's got that projector and that safely puts out the light where it's got that beam cut off. But the daytime running portion does not have that. That's like meant for halogen bulbs. So when you just put an LED on there, it's gonna scatter the light in a way that can actually blind other drivers, and it's not safe. I think in the past week, we've been driving around in this car and we've had people flick us off or flash their brights at us to let us know that these are too bright. So for the daytime running part, we're actually gonna have to switch these back to halogens because they're not safe in this housing. So if you wanna do like an LED bulb conversion or you wanna install those xenon lights on your car, you have to make sure that it's got that projector part. It's like a little clear bubble inside the headlight, and that's gonna give you that sharp beam cut off so that you're not blinding other drivers. So the next thing on this list of mods that I regret doing is Plastidip. Now, I have to be careful with what I say here because I don't want the Plastidip army to come after me, but just in my personal experience, I've just never really been happy with it. It seems to not look as good as I expect it to. It seems to not last as long as far as like it fading and just not looking right, and it never really peels off quite the way that they show in the videos. And I know a lot of that is probably just user error. I know that there are like professional Plastidippers who have a whole paint booth set up and they're using spray guns and they're doing it the right way, but as somebody like a noob like myself that is not Plastidip certified, you know, just bumbling into Home Depot and coming out with like the little aerosol cans, the matte black, it just never really looks that good. And in my personal opinion and experience, if you want to change the color of something on your car, just paint it. Or if you want to change the color of something and have it be reversible, use vinyl wrap. In my opinion, vinyl just looks so much better, it lasts longer, and it peels off a lot easier. So that's just me though. If you like Plastidip, that's your thing. But for me, I don't know, I'm just over Plastidip. So the next modification that I regret is just getting wheels that are the wrong size. So when it comes to getting aftermarket wheels, there's no like one size fits all. You know, if you put 18-inch wheels on a Dodge Charger, they look way too small, it'd be ridiculous. If you put those same 18s on a Miata, they'd be way too big and it would look like a donk. So you kind of have to look at the car as a whole, look at the proportions and how the wheels fit on there. Now since I've had this car, I've had 17s, 18s, 19s, and now we're back down to 18s. And my personal experience was the 19-inch wheels, they were just way too big for me. Having to run those little rubber band tires and not having the best roads in our area, it just made the ride super uncomfortable, and it even got to a point where I would actually look forward to being able to put my winter wheels back on because there were 17s, and the ride was just so much better that I don't know, I was just over the 19s, and I really like the wheels that I had, the VMRs, and I have nothing but good things to say about VMR as a company. They make really good products at an affordable price, but just as far as the 19-inch wheel size, I just think it's too big for this platform. In my personal opinion, on the E90 platform, 18 is like the perfect compromise between form and function. So that's the next thing. Just as you're picking out wheels for your car, just think about what you're going to be using it for, and just think about your whole car as a whole, the proportions, and what's going to look right. So next on this list of mods that I regret are lowering springs. Now again, this is one of those things that I don't have a problem with the springs themselves. The problem is I just installed the springs on my stock shocks and struts, which were already kind of high mileage at the time and already kind of on their way out, and just putting the springs on there, it made the ride bouncy. It probably made the handling even worse, and it definitely accelerated the rest of the suspension components wearing out. So my advice is, you know, I'm not even saying buy coilovers because I know they're expensive, but if you want to lower your car, do it the right way. Get yourself a set of matching shocks and struts. That way you're actually enhancing the suspension and not making the ride even worse. It's really bright out right now. I wish there was a way to shield my eyes from the sun. So the last type of mod that I regret doing is any of the cheap eBay or Amazon mods. This is a hobby where you're going to learn really quick that you get what you pay for in terms of parts. And I'll give you a couple examples. Like the first lip spoiler, the first carbon fiber spoiler that I had, I think I got on Amazon for like $100, and it was okay. It didn't fit quite right, and over time it kind of bothered me. I think younger me was just excited to have some carbon fiber, but eventually I got this one. It's like a low profile one from Keys Motorsports. It looks way better, fits way better. Even though it was more expensive, I like this one a lot more. Another example is the Angel Eyes. Before I got the expensive Luxe ones, I probably went through 3 sets of the cheap like $20 eBay Angel Eyes, and they would last a few months. They'd burn out, and those are a pain because you had to take apart so much stuff to install them. Eventually I saved up, I got the Luxe version, and they've been in I think for 3 years now, and they're running just fine. There are a lot of things that I learned from modifying this car that I'm now applying to the FRS as far as just getting higher quality parts to begin with, stuff that's actually going to last and look good and perform well. As car enthusiasts, I think that we've all done some mods that we regret, but leave a comment down below and let me know if there's any mods that you're embarrassed of. Feels so good to be back on my board after not skating pretty much all winter, but like not even having to do tricks, but just to ride around. Feels so good. So I know I've said this before, but I really want to start incorporating more skateboarding and just other lifestyle things into the channel. It's tough because as YouTubers and content creators, when you do the same type of content for so long, you kind of brand yourself as one thing. And I think that people can start to put you in this box of like their ideal version of what they think you should be about. And if you start to stray away from that a little bit, maybe people get disappointed, or maybe they just don't connect with the content anymore. And maybe that's okay, but as much as I love doing the car stuff, I do want to start bringing some of my other interests into the channel as well. So I hope that you guys like that. And yeah, I'm gonna get back to the skate session, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Awesome. Good boats. Anything wrong? And they get really good results. They're like Michelangelo with Plastidip, but you're still here? So I thought of an idea since everything shut down. I want to do a challenge for you guys that skateboard. I specifically want to call out Keys Motorsports, Tommy L Garage, and Thick F30. This is going to be the tray flip challenge for me. Tray flips have always been a trick that kind of got away, something that I always really struggled with. I've landed a few, but maybe you guys can give me some pointers. But on Instagram, if you want to film yourself doing a tray flip, tag JB Tray Flip Challenge. I will look at all of them and maybe I'll compile them into the next video. But yeah, I'm interested to see that. Let's see your best tray flips. I'll show you what mine looks like, but you guys can give me some pointers.